If, oh, witches are we, witches are we, witches are we on a Wednesday.
Lovely.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you, Miss O?
Hello, hello. I'm all right. Yes, I have arrived. Yes,
You
I'm
have?
here. And it's light and lovely. I'm just watching sort of some very odd-looking clouds kind of heading over this way, which means hopefully we'll get that thunderstorm tonight.
Oh, excellent. Are we due for one?
Yeah.
Excellent. Because they
Supposedly.
one the other day and it didn't turn up.
No, I was a bit disappointed. It was like the bus that never comes on Sunday.
Yeah.
So yes, we're supposed to be getting them tonight down here in the southeast, and it's from about an hour ago, late, until about 3 a.m. So I'm really hoping it'll wait until it gets dark and we'll have a proper one, because that's my favourite sort of thing.
Proper light show, that'd be good. Oh, I hope we got here. Oh, that'd be good. You know, fingers crossed. Had a sort of light show here the other day, but it was courtesy of one of those charcoal briquettes rather than it being.
Yes, an exploding charcoal briquette is not quite the same as a thunderstorm.
No, but it does leave a lasting mark on your rug.
Carpet burns, as we were saying.
Oh yeah, carpet burns. Not good. Definitely not good. So Heather, we have some people in. Say hellos. Who have we got? We have got Wibble Chick Chris. Hello. Hope you're well today. We've got Red Wing. And we've got Rachel Chapman. Hello, Rachel. Hello, hello, hello. And we've got London Girl back again for more. Well, glutton for punishment, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you're right there, yes. Absolutely.
And of course we've got Hands in. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
How are you? But it's quite easy because I can just go like that and say hello too. Ha And we've got Acasta Jinx. Wow, another new person. Hello, hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
So, hello, everybody. Hope you're all well. And anyone that hasn't said hello, hello to you too. And if you're watching back, hello to you too. Yes. So, Heather, what have you been up to this week?
Well, to be fair, I've done something I don't normally do, which is to make something. And that is, we were discussing last week the merits of cleavers.
Yes.
As in many in my garden. Well, I'd been making some cleaver, an infusion of cleaver, and I stood it under the full moon for the night, and that will be going off to my dear friend Anne. And I told her she might need to put some honey and lemon in it or something to make it palatable, because it probably tastes like, well, leafage, really. But I said if she gives it a go, because it helps with kidney function. That was one of the things that popped out. So I've made her some, and it resides in a bottle that very, very misleadingly says Coca-Cola on it, but it isn't.
I'm sure it's entirely the wrong colour.
It's very much the wrong colour. It's only a very slightly greeny tinge.
Yeah.
But I had a sip of it. It doesn't taste of anything particularly. So it's I wasn't going to give it to her without testing, because I'm not that cruel. I wouldn't give her something awful. But yeah, so, and obviously magical work, etc., and made full use of the full moon. But I did not get to see the eclipsey thing because clouds. I mean, hello, it's England. So that wasn't happening.
You always get clouds at the wrong time when it's any kind of astronomical thing, isn't it? It's every time, guaranteed.
Yeah. We've got well, there's supposed to be okay.
Where is it? It's never mind.
Yeah, thank goodness for live streams.
We leave you. I know, it's irritating, isn't it? Did see the full moon actually. We did some really rather nice magic, and then we
when it got high, we saw it. Yeah,
it was nice. We were doing some magic on the night of the full moon, and it was nice. We had various bags and things full of crystals and herbs and goodness only knows what hanging out on the sage plant to soak up the moon's rays, which was lovely actually. So,
yes,
very welcome. Very welcome.
I gave a lot of my crystals and implements a bit of a moon bath. It looked like a flea market stall. It really did out the back.
Yeah, it's nice when it's like that though, isn't it? Because you sort of think they're all nice and clean and well and truly charged by the moon and all that.
And it didn't rain, so
yeah, I know.
Because normally there's always that risk of, oh my God, it's all going to rain.
No, you sort of do various things with bits of paper and goodness only knows what else, and it all. Did I write on there? Is that? So yes, I know. the merits of Britain is marvellous, isn't it? So yes. So we've got a Caster Jinx who's saying she's a newbie. I'm sorry, I don't know whether you're he, she, or they. Perhaps you could tell us what your pronoun is. So yes, I'm saying they're a newbie here. So hello and welcome. Hello. We talk about all sorts of nonsense, but we talk about some interesting stuff too, don't we, Heather?
We try.
Heather, much more. We have a go.
Well, we do our very best.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we give it a whirl. And generally speaking, we talk about magic that we've performed, magic that we might like to perform, nature-based stuff, all kinds of bits and pieces, really, and the merits of eBay sometimes.
Yeah. It does weave into everyday life. I think that's the thing. It's the little magics that you do when you're cooking something and putting a herb in and putting some intention in it. It's just those last minute thoughts of an evening before going off to sleep, where you think, yes, and I want this to happen and this to happen. I want this person to be well, and I want this person to be happy. And it takes a while. Going to sleep is a complicated matter in my house.
It does. No, it does take a while. So she, her. Okay, so yes, hello. So yeah, it's been a bit full on actually this week for me. So magically, maybe not quite so much, but I've been down the woods, and of course that's a magical place to be. Moving various trees around like you do. So yeah, I've managed to lift 4 in one go now. That's not bad going, is it?
Blimey. How big or small are these trees?
I think the biggest one was probably about that, but it was about 40 foot. So one of those spindlies. But yeah, nevertheless, I think the thickest one was about that.
Was it just in the wrong place? Did it just need moving to?
No, it had died. It was one of my standing deads, and I've got a lot of them. So I'm busy sort of processing them for ready for August.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and in the process making a dead hedge as well, which is really rather good. So
yes, you described that lovely process, and it sounds like such a good way of using, especially like say all your spindlies, because you lay them down and weave them, and then you've got a nice sort of wicker kind of fence.
Yeah, exactly, and it works a treat. And you can put all sorts of bits in there, and it actually doesn't really matter how long, how long the bits of wood are that you put in. You can put new stuff in there as well, and obviously it then dies. But it's great. So you can put bits in there that are, sort of 8-12 inches long, or you can put bits in there that are 8 or 12 feet long, or 40 foot actually, if you want to. If you're quite sort of prepared to manipulate it.
Yeah, it has to be not so dry, because otherwise it would break if you tried to bend it round.
It doesn't matter. No, because it's not a woven hedge, it's a deadwood hedge. And that's quite the same thing. So you're thinking of kind of like a woven willow hedge, whereas this
that's a living one, isn't it?
Yeah. So whereas this one, you have these double posts strategically placed
stacking.
And then you literally just kind of like stagger bits within these posts, and it creates this barrier. And it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So it's just a question of moving these things around and finding always another dead one. Let's chop it down and stuff. So yeah.
It creates more space and more light and more openness for new things.
For new things to grow. And also it means that, I might have, in say 3 square meters, for example, there might be 8 or 9 spindly trees. But if I take out 4 or 5 of them, then the ones that are remaining, I'll sort of pick out the ones that are really good. And of course, then they've got better light and so on. So yeah, it's just management, really.
Kind of curating and managing, isn't it?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, from a normal point of view, actually, that's not something that I particularly aspire to. It's that kind of micromanaging natural land is my cup of tea. But because the land that I've got has previously been coppiced, obviously an awful lot of that's already been done. And having started mucking about with it, you've got to carry on mucking about with it. And it was mucked about with, hundreds of years ago. And it just means that it's not as healthy as it could be. So that's why I've got all this standing dead wood, or, trees that have, died from after about 8 foot high, and the top's dead and the bottom's not doing terribly well. And those are the things that are coming out and being sorted out, really. But it's good, and it's doing good to the bits that's there, and the spirits of place seem to quite like it. They perked up a bit. They were a bit miffed, if you remember, a few months ago.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, definitely out of sorts.
Yeah, and it was very much out of sorts. And the fairies were Miffy and Spirit's Place for Miffy, and it was just really not quite right at all. What is Alexa doing? And it was, it was just an unhappy place in part. But it's perking up and it feels much better and so on. And then this weekend I'm back up there again because there's some TLC needed at the treehouse. So that'll be the next thing, attacking the treehouse, see if we can get some bits put right there too. So it's a bit of a work in progress really, but it's all good. It's all good.
And such lovely weather to be down there, and just April, May, really, everything just unfurls. It's
doesn't it?
Extraordinary. From one day to the next. I literally went down my garden this morning. All right, the weeds had a bloody field day, it had to be fair. But I suddenly realised that this bush had suddenly flowered, and it's like, oh my God.
I wasn't there yesterday. Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, I'm in my garden most days, but all of a sudden it's like someone suddenly ramped up the acceleration and it's all gone completely crazy.
I know. It's lovely, isn't it? I like it when it's like
gorgeous.
That. Every single day it's a little bit different. And the lady that I go and visit, she's had the baby foxes in the garden, all the chaffinches and goldfinches are in there, and it's just really lovely. Now, what have we got going on here? So we've got Frankie's Finds in. Hello.
And Rowan's in as well. Hello, Rowan.
So Frankie's Finds has just had a bit of a giggle. Had a giggle from the news commentator saying the Supreme Court quoted a man in the 1700s who supported burning of the witches, and they say it like witches don't exist. Well, we're here, at least two. And we know a few more, don't we?
many. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Certainly do.
Yeah, we know lots and lots of the little critters. So yes. Hans pointed out the light. Now the light of the woods has just been amazing recently. And it's amazing where in the afternoon the sun shines through, and it doesn't just sort of shine through yellow, it shines through white. There's kind of like these white spots, almost like a spotlight, that sort of shines through the particularly dark bits that need more thinning. And it's just amazing. It just sort of lands on the woodland floor, and it's just these patches of just like spotlights, these patches of white. It's amazing, it really was. So we've got Rowan in. Hi. Yeah. Hello. So I hope you're well. I haven't seen you live for a while. Hope you're doing all right. So it's very much better. Spirit Place seems to be much happier with us, and seems to be approving of the things that we're attempting to do. But it does look better up there. But still always loads and loads of things to do. But there's a limit to what you can do and should do. Actually,
exactly.
It's, at the end of the day, it's a woodland. But as I said before, there's more to do and more that needs doing simply because it's been interfered with in the first place. And although I try not to interfere as much as I can, sometimes it just has to be like that because it doesn't thrive at all. So it's a balance, isn't it? It's the balance between the two, really.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky one though. So much as I'd like to just leave it alone and sit there with my coffee.
Always a good idea. Coffee is never a bad idea.
No, certainly not if you're down the woods. No, don't be a great flask. Off you go. So pardon?
Gin.
And gin, yes, there is no gin.
That's what I've asked you.
Yes, please. Gin's coming.
How lovely to have a butler.
I know.
The butler failed.
Failed miserably. I think the butler wanted off at one point.
I was my own butler, and I've gone for the second of the two cans.
You're enjoying your Peaky Blinders ale, aren't you?
Well, exactly. It's been a week since the last one, so why not?
Oh, well, fair enough. It's been a week since my last gin, to be fair.
That's good going.
I'm going to make up for it now. Hopefully. Now, so it's been doing some magic though. It's been interesting magic actually. So there was a youngster that I know who had been victim of an assault at school, which wasn't very nice. And so it was one of those things of, there's an awful lot of stuff that goes with that because nobody really knows the full circumstances of the person that's assaulted the people that as bystanders, what they're going through, what that person in the first place has been doing. But nevertheless, it had happened and it had been recorded and so on as well. So there was clearly no room for doubt that it had occurred and how it was said it had occurred, because it would have been recorded. But this young person, as I say, I've known him for a very, very long time, very, very, very sweet person. And it's like, that's seemed so grossly unfair. And the temptation is, when something like that happens, is to either, sort of man up and try and retaliate, or, and if that's not your normal way, then that's
not going to work.
It's never going to work. And so there's that whole thing of, why change yourself? This is particularly sweet boy. Why change yourself when?
Why should you have to?
Yeah, and why should you have to? And so, it was a question of doing something to, really to empower. Exactly, thank you. Not empower him exactly or specifically, but just like, sort of keep things as they were, a bit better. So that was one of the things that was going on this week. And I won't go into all the ins and outs of that, but and it was, again, it was a lot of thought went into. Thank you. There was a lot of thought that went into how it should be and what shouldn't be interfered with, and so can you hear those bubbles?
I can hear the gin being the clink of ice cubes. I'm like, music to my ears.
Here, it's up space. Don't want ice cubes, they take up room in the cup. Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Hans. Oh dear. Yeah.
Oh,
that's better.
That's better.
So lots of magic then.
So lots of magic, and it took a long time, and obviously utilising the moon phases as well. So, really, and it was done sort of over a period of time, and it was done utilising both the waxing full and slightly waning moon. It was utilising all of that, and it's it's that good feeling of like, that's how it should have been. And there were sigils involved and various bits of wood and stuff too. And it was like, no, this has got to be, that has got to be the right thing. And so, some crystals and herbs and things too. And it was nice putting it all together. And I'm not going to lie, it's a rewarding thing from your own point of view, isn't it? That it's like, yes, actually that's right. And it sits well. And you get that feeling of being rewarded from doing a good job, job well done. So that's nice, but of course, the biggest reward comes from the results of helping somebody else, and it's nice.
Yeah.
So, so that was good. And then there was some other magic that happened surrounding somebody else who's interested in moving. So there was some magic involved doing that too. And again, sort of thought processes, which colour's better for this, and which better for that, and so on and so forth. And again, that was a nice thing, and it's just nice to be able to help, isn't it?
It is. I think that's why we do it, isn't it? It's just because we make ourselves useful, and if we can affect change, we will. It's I kind of had my work cut out on Sunday because. As you know, my friend Anne, who we go to the boot fairs and she sells stuff, and it was like the weather forecast was looking very dodgy for Sunday morning, if you may recall. And I kind of thought, do we go? Don't we go? I thought, oh, what the heck? I threw everything I had at it, and we got up there, and we got a good couple of hours, a good 2.5 hours up there. And then when we decided it was raining a bit, we should come home, heaven just opened.
Yeah.
Once we'd packed away, it was like,
that's always the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
And I was tired. I do find when I do weather magic, it's tiring. That's the thing. I always feel a bit kind of like,
yeah.
It's
that's
hard work.
the thing. You've got to keep it up. You can't just go away and then that's it. You've got to go send it off and then keep it away, haven't you?
Well, if you take your eye off the ball, it kind of starts spitting and going, no. Go away now. No, not now. Just over there. And we did it. You can't keep it up forever. But I was so pleased, again, that it worked, because it meant that she made some sales. I got a few bits, but the basic thing was she got to see people and get out. And she's not felt so brilliant this week. So I'm really glad we got to go on the Sunday, because yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And
yeah,
again,
it's
get
worth it.
out, doesn't it? And get out of the house and all the rest of it, and just have a sense of normality. You know, when you're not well,
Yeah,
that
doing
thing
doing
just goes
something when you
topsy-turvy.
and needing something to distract your mind as well, because otherwise you're just going to sit there and go, yeah, I feel crap.
Yeah.
Or I've got this appointment, I've got that. And it's very heavy stuff that she's going through at the moment. And yeah, so she's dealing with a lot at the moment. A lot of people deal with treatments, but the hardest thing is hair loss.
Yeah.
You know, for a lot of people, it's like you kind of think, but it's not easy, and it's so difficult. It's part of who you are. Your hair is part of your identity
Real
and your
honest
energy,
thing.
and we know this.
Yes, we
And
do.
so, you know, absolutely, you know, it's not easy to suddenly have that change, even if it's temporary. So yeah, so been sending up all of the nice vibes I can, but it's part of the process that's necessary to get her healed and get her through to the next stage. So yeah, it's hard though.
It's a tough one though, that, isn't it? It is tough, definitely. No, it's
But interestingly, something good also came out of it, doing all this magic, and magic kind of generalizes sometimes, doesn't it? You kind of think you're going one place and sometimes something else happens and you think maybe that's not unconnected. Because this particular lovely lady actually used to be a teacher and is going to help a certain someone in my house who is struggling with a certain subject. So yes, I will pay her for doing that work. So that works because and I know how much she enjoys his company, and so that's a bit of a win-win, really.
Oh, definitely. Wow, isn't it funny how things have a habit of working themselves out?
It is, and that's all just from. And again, it's a brilliant distraction. It's a new challenge for her, which I think she'll enjoy. I know he'll enjoy it, and without going into detail because it's not my stuff. I think it's a lovely arrangement.
No, as you say, it's a win-win, and there's no downside to that. There
No,
isn't.
absolutely. It's lovely,
Yeah.
and it means that my son does get to know somebody else completely outside the family a little better, which is lovely, who's nearby.
Oh, I think that's brilliant. As I say, and it doesn't get any better than that. It really is. There are no downsides, and it's a complete win-win situation for everybody concerned, isn't it? So, sort of less worry about things and extra help and extra money, and
it just kind of keeps things rolling along, and it's another sort of strand. I love that. Hans has said there are some amazing wigs out there and hats, and that's what she did for her mother, and they were crazy colours too. Yes, there are some extraordinary ones. In fact, I'm very aware of the entire selection of turbans that seem to be about. I was sporting one the other day and put one of her big brooches because she's mad about jewellery, so she can just, and earrings. When you haven't got hair in the way, you can wear the most incredible earrings.
The most incredible ones, real butcher jobs,
exactly, real door knockers, big, swingy, chunky things. So it's kind of an opportunity to play a bit with that, and I believe that she is getting a wig sorted, and then I think what you can do is go to the hairdresser and get it cut to how you want it, how your normal hairstyle is. But it's nice to have the choice and to have something to tide you through, because it must be very difficult. I mean, when I had my treatment, I didn't lose much hair. Don't know how, but I didn't. But it just depends on the individual exact protocol of treatment that you're being given.
That's right.
So
I had to help somebody in the family with that a few years ago, maybe 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And actually, there was a remarkably big selection out there of choice. I was really quite pleasantly surprised. So, there's, colours and ranges and hairstyles, lengths and all that kind of stuff. So, it's all a good thing. So, it's all good. And hello, Jen, all the way from across the pond.
Oh, hello, Jen.
Jen's in. Let me turn that round. I'm like half in the corner. Best place for me.
Left in a corner? I don't think so.
Corner. Oh no, I don't think so. No wallflowers here.
Oh, you're right, Jen. Wow, yes. Orthodox Jewish neighbourhoods often have really good wig shops. I think outside of London, certainly for us here in the UK, we don't have quite such a concentration of facilities for such things. But I can understand why. Yes, of course they would. They would have really good wig shops. But I believe the sort of breast care nurses and things actually had they arrange an appointment, they arrange it for a wig to be done. But yeah, it's nice that there is choice and that, you know, people can be open about these things. And I've seen plenty of people about who obviously are having chemotherapy who've got no hair and they're quite happy with the head out.
Yeah.
But you know, everyone takes to it differently and wants to express themselves differently and deals with it in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. And says you look like Frankie from Greece.
Oh, the pink curls.
Yeah,
Wow.
was it Pink Ladies, wasn't it? Was
The
it
pink ladies, and she dyed her hair pink.
Yeah.
Albeit a very baby pink, delicate shade.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yes.
So do you want me to talk about that? Yeah. Okay. So.
Oh.
Okay. So now what Hannah has written here is the magic of willow. So are you sure? Yeah, quite happy to talk about this because the magic is working and it's working remarkably well, it would seem. So a bit of background. Hannah has degenerative bone disease in the jaw, and it means that some of the jaw is receding, some of the gum lines receding, and it's meant that there's been teeth troubles for lots of different reasons, none of which I'm going to go into, but it's been a saddening, upsetting and long-term issue. It's not a good thing at all, and it's, you know, one of those things that obviously, you know, once your teeth are gone, they've gone, and you know that prevention is better than cure, obviously, as in dentures and all that kind of stuff, because we know, you know, there's been a problem. So we talked about this, didn't we? And we had chats about, you know, what was going to be the best course of action. And Heather came up with the best idea, in my opinion, which was to use willow. And the reason that willow was used was because of its amazing root system.
Yeah.
You know, it just, you know, you can literally look at it and it sprouts a root, doesn't it?
It does.
Oh, there's a root.
It's famous for it.
Yeah. Just put down a root there. So we decided that using willow was going to be a suitable plant to use because of its rooting system, and obviously with the teeth and the teeth roots and so on. And we wanted sort of, you know, things to be sort of
Stability
and all that kind of stuff. So having thrown the gambit out there, we was all left to our own devices, weren't we, Heather? Off we went. So we went and gathered some new willow in the early part of this year, and it was new bits of willow that were coming from a very, very large couple of willow trees, actually. You know, we've driven around a little bit and it's like, no. Oh, there's one, stop, screech to a halt. Don't mind me, Mr. Councillor. And various pieces, long, sort of 3 metre length bits of willow were chosen that were just taken off the tree, and it's like, you know, very, very select which particular bit. And then we had them sitting in a bucket for a long time, just to sort of like make sure that they were nice and pliable and so on and so forth. And then we had this mega weaving session, and we essentially sort of wove it, so like you would do if you were creating a loom and then weaving fabric on a loom. But of course that then means that you've got sort of like frayed bits, so every single end went back on itself and in on itself and back on itself and in on itself. And we created essentially something that looked not dissimilar to a snowshoe. And all things considered, the fact that these pieces of willow, they were very thin, but they were nevertheless, you know, sort of a good 3 or 4 meters long, some of them. The fact that it wove itself down to basically a snowshoe means that you can tell just how much time and effort was involved, and it was put in a pot, and obviously it's been carefully watered and looked after and so on, and we've had greenery showing and new life showing on it and so on and so forth. So that was that. Any off cut bits or bits that broke themselves off, they were woven into a little sort of wreath, for want of a better word. It wasn't really a wreath, it's more a sort of circlet really, but that was hung on the bathroom cabinet, obviously, you know, bathroom being a sensible and suitable place to have that. And then there was a trip to the dentist today. And wasn't the dentist surprised?
Yes. I love it when magic works.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that seems to. Well, that one's not wobbly. Oh, that's there's no wobbly there, and that one. Oh, that seems to be fine, and that seems to be coming down a bit. Then, oh, that's looking very much better. To the point where he's offered to do various things that he's never before offered to do, to kind of boost the improvement.
Yes.
So yes, it was a long time coming, and it was it was a real hardcore couple of days.
Yeah.
Actually, it was longer than that, wasn't it? It was days that we did it over, and a lot of time was spent on it. But if you want a job well done, you've got to do it properly, haven't you?
Absolutely.
So if I missed anything, no. But it was amazing, and sort of actually seeing that today, it's like, yes, Mr. Dentist, good magic done here.
Oh, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. Fantastic news.
Yeah, exactly. So there is improvements. So
and there will continue to be so.
Improvements. I was going to say improvements afoot, but actually it's improvements of mouth.
No,
Foot and mouth. No, you haven't got foot and mouth. Oh God, no. Oh God, Heather, what have you done?
Oh, I think I'm here. I've had a problem with the camera. I'm a throbbing blob, aren't I? Give me a minute. Hang on.
You're a pulsating. Oh, hello.
I was a pulsating purple blob, wasn't I? It's something with this laptop. Sometimes it just seems to do that, but I'm still here, and I'll just come back in. Don't know why it does it.
That's quite enough of that. Thank you very much.
Indeed. Oops.
Oh, whoops a daisy. Yes. So that's really, really good news. And it's, again, like you say, so you start to see the beginnings of things working, and it's like, there's improvement there, and it's less pain and less stress and all the rest of it, and everything then starts tipping the balance, and it's that balance tip, and then you can see things beginning to just slot in, and it's brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
Oh.
So, it's really chuffed about that this morning.
Lovely.
So, excellent stuff. And we weren't late. It was marvellous. Really double whammy.
Blimey.
10 minutes early. Yeah, we were about 10 minutes early. I mean, what happened there? I was 2 weeks early to the dentist once. That's the only time I've ever been
ridiculous.
Anyway. I know. Went in, sat down, said hello to the receptionist, who'd been the receptionist for about 30 years at that point. So she knew me very well. Hello, Rebecca, she said, as I sat down. Hello. And about 3 or 4 minutes later, as I'm sitting there reading a magazine, she said, Rebecca, why are you here?
Oh.
And I thought to myself, well, usual reason, to be fair. I mean, I don't just, randomly just go and sit in the dentist's waiting room just for the hell of it.
It's not a pleasure hobby, is it?
No. But do you know what? I think I'll go and sit at the dentist. No, so I gave her a funny look and said, well, usual reason. She said, your appointment's 2 weeks' time. Go home.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Guess what? 2 weeks later, I was late.
Well, revenge, as they say.
Yeah, see there. Yeah,
So
2
fair.
weeks early. What an idiot! I felt like such a fool.
Oh, that is funny.
It was me. She's like, Rebecca, go home. It's okay.
I hope you hadn't travelled too far.
No, luckily not. But so
I'm very fortunate. My dentist and doctors and that, they're all literally about less than, they're about 200 yards away. So it's quite handy.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant then. That's brilliant. Can't say fairer than that. And actually, as Hans also said, we have had a magical day because we've got lots and lots of bits for August, which is brilliant. Yeah, we've got some nice bits, didn't we? Yeah. Good old Chazzers. So we went and
We love a charity shop.
Oh yes, down the Chazzers. So yeah, we've got various things down there.
It's amazing what you can manifest when
wins as well, isn't it? That's one of your win-wins, and that's what I like about charity shops.
It's usually a win-win. I've certainly been finding that of late.
Yeah. Well, it is, because they get some money that they wouldn't otherwise have had. Someone's got the opportunity to get rid of some bits that they wouldn't otherwise know what to do with, or go into landfill, keeps it out of landfill.
Precisely.
And you go around, have a nice day out, and get a couple of bargains. Perfect.
Exactly. And I'm a professional womble. So I recycle things. Yeah. I always wanted to be a womble when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was.
Now I am.
Yeah. Yeah, and I always used to wonder where Wimbledon was. And when I first went to Wimbledon, I was really excited.
What, you expected to find Wombles on the common? I knew where Wimbledon was, but only because of the tennis.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, there were, obviously you've got the link with them, but I kind of suspected that the Wombles didn't frequent court number 1.
No, it was Wimbledon Common, not the Southfields, the tennis. Good Lord. Yes, I lived in Wimbledon for a while, so that's why I know.
Oh, see, that's why you're a Womble.
Yes, I lived very, very near the Wimbledon tennis.
Oh,
Very
did you?
near. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that made me very happy.
Yeah, that'll be on, won't it, soon, I suppose.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, it will this year.
Yeah, did it happen last year? Yes, it was. Oh, I don't know.
I think it might have happened without an audience or something like that. To be honest,
I
I
was
haven't
going to say
watched
happened
a
without
lot
anyone
of it.
noticing.
Well, there is that. Yeah, I don't follow it as much as I used to. When I was young, I followed it a lot. But I haven't got time to sit and watch 2 weeks of television. I really haven't.
No, it's not one of my things. But then, no sport is, because I've got no hand-eye coordination whatsoever.
Yeah.
I've got no hand-foot coordination either, as was
That's awkward.
proven to me last. What day did it? Was it Thursday? Well, I went an absolute perler on Thursday. Fell over. I got a big bruise on my arm.
Oh, I fell over on Sunday.
Oh, well, there you go.
Saturday. I went flying. I said, witches do fly. It wasn't the flying that was the problem, it's the landing.
Yeah, it hurts, doesn't it?
I got a nice bruise on my thigh and managed to, but I'm fine. I mean, considering it was a kind of a gravelly, concretey drive, I came away quite unscathed. But generally, I have a good sense of balance, but I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, no, my balance is rubbish. And I just went a proper perler. I just did one of my sideways flips, and that was the end of that. So yeah.
Oh dear, what are we like?
Which is are we?
Indeed, it's not the flying that's the problem; it's the landing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. To coin a phrase, indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
We are all Wombles to an extent, really, aren't we? It seems to be quite a witchy thing, Wombly witchy thing. Yeah.
Yes, I think the Wombly tendency of finding things that other people have no use of and looking at the world in a slightly different way. Yeah. Absolutely.
Exactly. Reuse, repurpose, and all that. I mean, that used to be such a big thing, wasn't it? And of course, now in this throwaway society, which irks me. It just it doesn't matter, get a new one. It doesn't matter. Don't get a new one. Fix that one.
But I do think attitudes are shifting, and particularly as everyone hits the economic buffers, I think there's going to be more of a need to recycle stuff and repair it, and not want to just, because people can't afford to just get rid of stuff.
No.
The days of cheap, wasteful consumption, hopefully, are on the way out.
Over again, yeah, exactly. Oh, I do hope so. I mean, it's a rather tough way of doing it. It's supposed to be a first world country, and you've got severe poverty all over the place and food poverty, and it's just ridiculous. But then you've got the supermarkets overcharging stuff and then chucking half of it out.
Yeah.
Because they haven't afford it. It's just ridiculous.
There's something very wrong with the whole system.
It
does need reform.
It does. In France, I believe, I think I'm right in saying this, in France the supermarkets get fined if they throw food away. They have to give it to, I don't know whether it's like soup kitchens or where it has to go, but they're not allowed to throw it away. They're fined.
Well, we should have something similar here then.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of people that do the food recycling. They've got companies out there like Olio and so on and so forth. And yes, I'm going to plug Olio as much as I can possibly plug Olio. And that's brilliant, and it does stop a lot of stuff going to waste. And there's some people that will take that food and then make meals up for families, and then the families all collect that, and then there's other people that will just take that food, and instead of preparing it and cooking it, they'll just then distribute it amongst local residents and so on and so forth. Either way, it stops it going in the bin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. I must admit, years and years ago, about 30 years ago, I used to have a little night shift job at a supermarket, just filling for a few hours in the evenings. And of course, we always used to have tea break. And in the first part of the evening was when the bakery part of the supermarket was being cleaned. And so, of course, tea break used to come, and up came all the black sacks full of all the squashed cream cakes that were about to go in the And yeah, up they came. And so it was sort of just basically rummaged around in the cake bags to see what you could salvage and that hadn't been trodden on. And some days
Especially that
were
big
more
boot
fortunate than
mark
other
on it.
ones. If you dropped them from a great height, they probably didn't fare very well. But it was all rather potluck, really. You know, you might get a jam donut that had had the jam squeezed out of it, or you might get a whole one. You know, you might get a flaky pastry or whatever it was. But it was always a bit of a lucky dip, to be honest.
Yeah, a bit of a gamble, really.
It was definitely a gamble, yeah. But yeah, that was quite the highlight of the evening, really, just to sort of like see, oh, what's in the bag today? Oh, ooh.
Don't think I'll bother
Do you want
today.
that? I think I'll pass now.
Yeah, it's a bit too far gone.
Oh no, perhaps not. No, that's definitely been trodden on. I think someone might have run that over with a pallet. Yeah,
Like a pancake.
So yeah, but it was a bit of an eye opener. You know, just starting work in there and seeing just from one store, just the bakery department alone, what they were taking out. You know, yes, really, God, and that was 30 years ago. So yeah.
Well, exactly. And everything being in plastic now is just absurd.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything.
Started on that.
Yeah, no, I know.
We're all blooming night.
Well, yes, there is a soapbox, and we will clamber very high. But it's almost impossible to avoid.
Those soapboxes, shall we, Heather?
Recycled soapboxes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
yeah.
Dear. So yes, it is a bit. It's one of my many bugbears, I'm afraid, and something I get rather vocal about. But it's just, not enough people sit up and listen to it. It's just not people that can make a difference.
Well, exactly. The grassroots changes that actually need to happen. Yeah,
exactly. I think
consumers can do so much.
Slowly and surely, things are changing, and obviously the economic climate. I think that might change things a bit too. I think people might be less wasteful with what they've got in the fridge, perhaps.
You would hope so. I mean, I've always liked using up leftovers, and I'm very, very reluctant to sort of get rid of anything. But an awful lot of people, apparently, it's very well known that a large percentage of what they buy will end up in the bin. It's tragic.
Exactly, and it's like, why buy it in the first place? Just put £20 in the bin and have fun with it.
Exactly, but then the supermarkets are geared that way to make people make impulse purchases.
Yeah.
There's a whole. Yes, I could go into it in great depth. The whole psychology of the way people view food is not
it's bizarre. It is, but as you say, so maybe things will turn, and obviously that will improve the planet. Well, our little corner of it, perhaps a bit. It's a tough way of learning, but sometimes, I don't know, tough love and all that. Oh, I don't know.
Well, sometimes it takes things to get bad before there's change. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chris says we need to look at local exchange trading systems, exchanging services, time and items with no money. Yeah, absolutely. And do you think that'll actually come, Chris? Do you think it will happen, or do you think it's just that people will squeak about it and maybe it won't happen? Who knows? Some use their own currency of tokens, put the whole economy straight. No food wastage, swap it. Need food? Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah, something like a token with a set value, that's what's needed, because otherwise it gets very subjective. I've done things like skill swaps and all that kind of thing before, where you give a certain amount of time, but it's what value you put on it that it can get very messy. Yeah.
No, I think it's a brilliant thing, and it is a really good system. But as you say, you've got, somebody needs plumbing work done or roofing work done. Are they going to be happy with a couple of artichokes and a melon? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, this is the problem when you're talking about skills as opposed to stuff. Skills are very hard to value because it's supply and demand usually. But there's a whole economics lesson in there, I'm sure.
It is. And of course, actually, that's one of the things when it comes to actually bringing it back to why we're sitting and talking, bringing that back to witchcraft. Actually, that's one of the things that becomes a real issue, doesn't it, about charging for services. And there's so many people that were you know, they're undervalued, or they have a guilt system of well, I can't charge for that because it's magic and I shouldn't charge for magic and so on. But you know, you can
It's a
spend a
difficult
lot
one.
of time. It is a really, really difficult one, and it's always one that's open for debate. You know, how much should you charge for divination, whether it's crystal ball or tarot or angel cards, oracle cards, whatever it might be. You know, and should it be this much? And oh, that seems an awful lot. And this one charges this, but should you charge at all? And then, well, if it comes
It's
for making
difficult.
lotions and potions or doing spell work, whether it's candles or tinctures or whatever, it's difficult. It really is.
It's
There's
not
always
black and
this.
white, is it?
No, it really isn't. It really isn't. You know, and if you know, if you can charge per hour or half hour to see a practitioner, say for example a chiropractor, they're healing you and they've had training and so on and so forth. Well, so have various other alternative healers, whether that's Reiki masters or acupressure or acupuncture or whatever.
Well, they all charge.
Exactly.
Some a very large amount.
Exactly. And if they charge, then why shouldn't? If you're healing in a different way and there's training involved and there's time involved, then why
and
not?
Skill.
And skill.
Not everyone can do it.
No, not everyone's got the capability. And so it's always a bit of a moot point, isn't it? It's a real tricky one.
Yeah, I really, I can't say which way I go on it. I can see that someone's skill and expertise in a certain area is a valuable commodity. So why would you give it all away for free?
Yeah.
Especially if you're professional and that's what you want to do full time. Because if you're trying to spread yourself between earning your daily bread and being a practitioner and helping other people, it's nice to help other people. We do it just for the delight of it, but you know, you can't eat that.
Oh, exactly. You can't take that to the bank, can you? Yeah. It is a real difficult one, though. You know, there's some camps that sort of come down. Oh, you know, they're charging for this, they're charging for training, they're charging to learn so and so for a workshop. How dare they? But then people.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, there is. There's a
someone's
lot of criticism for it.
If you've ever run a workshop, you know how much goes into it. Preparation, stuff, equipment, dealing with, and never mind the actual time that the thing takes. It's hard work, and I've done it myself in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's tricky, isn't it? So so it's it's an interesting question, though, isn't it? And it is one of those things that comes up a lot, you know. And there's some people that don't seem to have any issue about, oh, well, I charge this, take it or leave it, but very few. Yeah,
I guess if it was something I would do more in a business-like way. Does that jar? I don't know, but I think I would always have, for people who really don't have the means, I would always have a certain amount of time allotted for them. I think that's probably where I would fall, is 75% of the time I probably need to charge, but there was people who are going to need help who are not in a position, and that's fine. I would give that. But,
Yeah, exactly. So Rachel says, at the end of the day, it's your time. Time is precious, so you can charge what it's worth to you. And that's a fair comment. And I like your comment of, you know, allocating time and to people that, you know, genuinely don't have the wherewithal to be able to pay for things. And obviously, you know, you get an idea of that, and whether someone's just trying to swing the lead. And as Rachel says, people don't have to have a service if they don't want to pay. That's true too. But then it shouldn't just be available to the elite. It should be available to anyone. And that's where that whole thing comes in. But, you know, again, that's open to misuse.
Very much, yeah. I mean, I've been in situations, because I was a therapist for quite a number of years. I also had the similar thing where there were always debates about what you charge and what you think is fair and what you think is right. And you just come to your own conclusion in the end. But that was my living, so it was a little different. Like my, you know, selling stuff on eBay. I can be very businesslike and hard-nosed about that. But, you know, if someone I knew said, "Oh, I desperately need to so and so," and I happen to have one, it'd be like, "Well, there you go." You know, it's,
It's different, isn't it? It is difficult, but it's always an interesting point. It's always one that gets people quite around the collar.
Yes, it generates heated debate.
It does, yeah. Make sure you insulate your roof before you have your heated debate. Keep that warmth in. Yes.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we did some more magic as well, didn't we? We did it tappity tappity click on the internet for mid-June. Go and see some music magic.
Well, yes, there is that. That was like,
There's a
oh,
lot
don't
of
mind
magic in that. There's a lot of magic in that. There's a lot of magic in enjoyment and pleasure and losing yourself and trancing out to music and all that kind of stuff. Where are we going?
We're going to see Adamant. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. Bless him.
It'll be good to go in summer, because we always used to go in winter and it's freezing.
It was perishing cold. We had to drink a lot of wine in the queue, didn't we, to keep warm? Do you remember?
Yes, that wasn't always such a good idea.
Swinging it out of the bottle because you didn't want to break a glass. That's the one.
That's the one. But yes, very much one of the best
Yeah.
concerts. And when you were sending to me about it, I'd actually been looking at clips from the Roundhouse show that he'd just done like the day or two beforehand, thinking, oh, that looks damn good. Maybe. And then ping. It's like, yes, please.
Yes, please. Adamant. Yes.
Stand and deliver, indeed.
So so that's not too far off. So that'll be on a Wednesday. So we won't be here. We will be ant musicking.
We will be doing our thing.
We will.
And in fact, when I heard, I will show. This is slight aside, but I will get Becky to actually look up the YouTube clips of when he opens the show. They start off with ant music this time, but they've got a whole drum thing at the beginning that I think we could use.
Oh,
so check that out.
Oh, nice. Oh, yes.
It's the beginning bit of it, which I'm always tempted to play anyway. So
yeah.
Anyway,
Brilliant.
There's magic in those drums.
There is lots of magic in those drums, yes. And of course, drumming we do go. We've been doing some more samba as well, which is not coming along maybe quite as quickly as we might hope, but
a lot of people don't relate to the samba rhythm. I think that's the thing. You've either got it in your bones or you haven't. We have, because we know we have.
Yeah, but it's quite interesting, just sort of like stepping out of the, sort of out of the throng of it for a bit and just watching other people's bewilderment. It's really quite funny.
Yeah. I think. I mean, people listening are
doing something else. Oh.
Yeah, you can see their eyes moving. What's going on?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I love it. It's something new and different, and
new. Yeah, exactly. So it's nice to learn something new, isn't it? But I don't think that will, replace what we currently do. But
oh God, no! But it adds a flavour and a different beat.
Yeah, and we've got lots of gigs coming up, so that'll be fun. So gigs and workshops, which is fun, but learning something new with somebody who talks uber quietly in a room full of 20 drummers.
Yeah,
tricky. Really. So you need a megaphone, really, but.
It's going to take time, isn't it?
It is going to take time. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Chris says I can't keep up with the conversation speed and look for links. Hope these are okay. That must be for Adam and the Ants, maybe. No. What was that for, Hannah?
It's for the next.
Oh right, okay, thank you. And hello Vanya. Hello.
Vanya, hello.
Hello Vanya.
Vanya likes Adamant too.
Yes, hello to Rachel. Didn't I, Rachel? Hello.
We've had many conversations about Adamant, basically because we're of that era. I am certainly bang slap in the middle of that era, and I saw him at the time.
Yeah.
So never disappointed.
Exactly. I was a bit later on the scene. Not
slightly, late enough.
No, I mean at the time, he was my thing, and he was plastered all over my wall. Actually, to be fair, quite a few years, but I never had the I never had the pleasure of going to see him until was it about 8 years ago?
Yes, because I'd been and said it was amazing, and then said, "Oh, I like Adamant." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
and then
right. I didn't realise. Not seeing him gig until relatively recently, but Yeah, live stream from Ant-Man.
Yeah, he
That'd
was
be
on the
funny.
bedroom wall. Yeah.
We'll get the man himself to sing "Witches Are We," shall we?
Oh, that would be fun, wouldn't it? You'd probably think that was hilarious.
He probably
Yeah, I mean,
will.
I went and
He
saw
was.
him when I was 17 years old, and I went up on my own up to London to the what was it? Oh, I can't remember which theatre it was now. But yes, and got to meet him. He's very lovely and a little smaller than me.
Yes, he's not very big, is he?
He's not very, very big.
Very small.
He's not too tall.
He was on many a bedroom wall. He most definitely was, with his strutty face.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes. Well, on that note of 4,
Yes. Hang on. Hang on.
say cheerio. Are you anting on your t-shirt? Oh.
I'm not. I'm Susieing.
Oh, you're Susieing today. Oh, bless her. There she is. Yes.
Another one of my favourite crushes. Susie the Banshees.
Indeed.
And
I saw
Salisbury
her
Beacon.
a long time ago. And there's a little French man who has my autograph, thinking that I was her. She probably only came up to about my armpits. Of course, it's beside the point. He was convinced I was her, and he wanted my autograph, and he got it.
He's not very faithful. Who's not very faithful?
Oh dear, isn't he? Oh dear, that's not good. And Chris says ants aren't very big. Well, no, they're not. I have to agree with that. Spiders around my way are much, much bigger. Just saying.
They are indeed.
They are. Yeah.
And furry.
And they're furry. Yes, they really, really are.
Yes, the kind of spider where you can see its eyes. That's always a worry.
Oh God, I could see more than its eyes. Anyway. Turn around and wink the other one. Anyways.
Cute and furry.
Dear God,
Right.
yeah. Anyway, on that note, Heather, do the awkward wave.
Oh, here we go.
Right, so we'll see you next week. We are not adamantium next week, so we'll see you next week. And yes, Heather's awkward waving while I poke various buttons. So thanks everybody. Toodle pip.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.